Hello everyone, I'm just heading down to the FITZROY area because we've got a council meeting, and I should have done this a week or two ago, so I'm going to try and get it out there tonight, and I want your comments on it. It's about the FITZROY steps. Now tomorrow we've got a council meeting on what we need to do with the FITZROY steps. We've got three options on the table, which is option one, which is $3.5 million. Option two which is $1.7 million, or option three, to leave it as it is. No other options. So when we had a previous meeting, we discussed it, and I mentioned, why are we not looking at other options? And the excuse was, well, these are the options the managers have come back at. I can't stop thinking that it's the same old sales trick where they show you a neat design and you get sold on that, and then they say that's going to be about 1.5 million. They come back a year later saying, oh dear, it's now 3.5 million, so we've got a better design, and that design is only going to cost 1.7 million. So it's the same old, show the fancy one and maybe you'll choose the not so fancy one. But $1.7 million on a beach access is not the not so fancy one. I still think it's fancy. So I'm going to be driving around and showing you all the little options, and where can we go from here. So I'll just show you the steps. I'll just pull up in a park here, and we'll go from there. So here we go. We're at the stairs here. So you can sort of park your car there, but the reality is you can park your cars all the way along here. But who's really going to park their car up there when they can park their car down the bottom? So these are the steps they're wanting to replace. And really, do they need replacing? I mean, a little bit wonky and a little bit worn, but the reality is $1.7 million, it's a big cost. There wasn't any need or willingness of people coming in over the years saying they want a ramp here. And when I show you where the ramps could be, yeah, that's where the issue is. So there was a ramp here. But that's all overgrown, and there's been development down there, so that's why they made these stairs. What people have been doing, if they wanted a ramp, is they've been simply walking down this road. And it's a two-way road. There's more than enough room for someone to walk down the middle here on the right-hand side of these poles, and cars just go around them. That's what they've been doing in the past, if anyone wants access. Failing that, if you want it safer, well, they could actually deck this area out and walk here. So to me, that's the best option if you need a ramp. But I'll tell you why I think a ramp is not necessarily so. One of the reasons why they say they can't do a ramp is because this is too steep. If you're in a wheelchair, you're not going to use ramps anyway, because sure, you can go down, doesn't matter how steep it is, it's still a height of about 15 to 20 metres gradient, or total height, that you have to climb, no matter how long the ramp is. So it's pretty tiring. So, so they say this is too steep, but the reality is, when you go down there, if you're down in a car park and you've got to get up to the beach, that's a heck of a lot steeper than this road. So it sort of cancels out the needingness or the excuse of saying that this road is too steep, because the actual access up to the beach is even steeper. So to me, it sort of cancels out their theory of we must have a road of a certain gradient or a ramp of a certain gradient. And of course, that gradient, I can't remember off my head, but it will mean the ramp would have to be about 140 metres long. If it's 140 metres long, well, I'll show you the other option where they could go sure, it's another 150 metres or 160 metres more, but the reality is it's flat, totally flat. So these are the options we're not looking at. So yeah, I'll just go for a drive and we'll show you. Well, as you can see, people used this walkway and it was quite good. People slowed down and let people go by, but no, apparently that's not good enough now. And that's just another view of it. To me, I think the slope's okay, but how's that be say no? So once they get down to the car park, where the walkway finishes about where that arrow is, or the ramp, they've got to get up to the beach. Well, the funny thing is, this is far too steep. It doesn't meet the minimum slope requirements. So maybe, it's just a thought, maybe we just open this up and for card carrying elderly or accessible card users, and they can park up here. You know, if we do that, we could possibly save $1.7 million. So yeah, that's an option that we need to maybe consider also. Now in the design, just to the left, that's where the ramp starts, and it goes along to basically that the big round tree just in front of the canoe there, and then it doglegs back to the playground. So that's why the ramp is around 135 metres long. It's quite long, it adds a lot of distance. And like I say, one of my options is to come along this pathway. So the ramp dog legs back just in front of that canoe and halfway at the bank, and then it comes back to the pathway which is just adjacent to the playground there. You'll see the start of the pathway at the bottom of the stairs. That's the original stairs. Yeah, they're a little bit old, but there's nothing wrong with them at the moment. But we're really doing these stairs because they want the ramp. So I personally think maybe if the stairs need replacing, that's all we need to do. So yeah, I'm going to show you the options now. And here we are at Seaton Street. This is the end of Seaton Street here. So I'm just parked here. Now, like I say, it's only for scooter access and mobility scooter and probably wheelchair. So why can't they do this? How much would it cost? And I'll just switch my cameras over. That's better. So like I say, that's the car and that was me walking down the street. So you've got this little area here. This is totally flat. that people can use. So here is just 35 paces to the main walkway, and the surf club or beach in question is right there. So do we spend $1.7 million on doing that when we've got this right here, which is totally flat? The other option, and where I did the U-turn, it's where those cars are, right there. And I'm not sure if you can actually see the steps in question. No, you can see the playground, which is right next to the steps, which is right there. This is the other option. If we didn't want to concrete this area, East End Surf Club's got great parks here, and we just need to put more mobility parks here, so then they can, in a totally flat area, come along this road to that surf club. So yeah, these are the options which could actually save us a lot of money. We don't need to do it. So they just need to put more mobility parking there, and it can come along to the surf club there. Not perfect, but it saves our council around 1% in rates. Which is equivalent to a yearly rates bill. This one's going to be borrowed, so it's not going to be quite that, but it's still over $1.5 million. So like I say, this here to me is the best option. Just there, and you're right near the road. So here I am at East End Beach, and Fitzroy Beach is in the distance there. So we could, this is really the accessibility beach. So we've actually got a really good accessibility beach already, and I'll just show you why. So the parking's right here. They really need to change this because of the water generated from the showers is terrible. So if they change that to maybe there, so that's another thing that a person in a wheelchair told me about. But anyway, I'll just show you the beach accessibility. So this is flat access here, okay, and it's got the less than 12 degree pitch. And so long as you've got a wheelchair with beach buggy wheels or anything like that, that's the best access. So we have got beach access for accessibility. It's just not Fitzroy Beach. Fitzroy Beach is right there. So on low tide, they could get down to the hard sand and go there, and it'll be a lot easier. And there's another accessibility way as well. So the main road is through there, and your beach accessibility is right there. It's a little bit steeper than 12 degrees, but I'd say all beaches are steeper than 12 degrees. So in my opinion, the beach access is this beach, not Fitzroy. Well, I'm just at Bell Block Beach at the moment, and I'll just show you an example of what we actually should be doing to gain access to all our areas in Taranaki. First of all, I'll just turn left and show you a brand new barbecue area. Thanks to the Bell Block Community Board, this is one of their first initiatives, and like I say, this is the first time we've had the Bell Block Community Board this term, and they're working wonders. I'm so proud of this committee and what they're doing and where they'll be heading. Right, off to the boat ramp in question, or the access way. So here we are at Bell Block Beach, and as you see, it's been well used. It's a great summer's night. But if they're worried about the steepness of ramps and beach access, this one here is really steep. So it also attracts rocks. So if they actually put this up to a certain steepness, it would probably be, where that person's sitting there, probably about 4 or 5 feet above their head, going under the sand. So it would not attract these rocks. So if you really want to have beach access and kill two birds with one stone, and there's a lot of stones here, you know, we should really be doing this. As you see, I've got my camera level, and this is the steepness. So this is what we should be fixing first. It's already an asset. I could get my ute down there, but 50% of the time, the rocks, you can't even get a quad bike down there. So, yeah, that's what we can do. And let's see, that's just an example that we should be fixing the assets we've got, not having fancy things, because the people of Bell Block have been wanting this ramp updated. And because they've been wanting it updated, we should update it before any other fancy things that people aren't actually wanting. Well, that was Bell Block for an example, and I'm just going to show you one more example. There's probably a dozen examples of what we should be doing first, but these are just two examples that prove that we really aren't giving access to other beaches, and we're doing it all to one. So this is another area that everyone's been wanting to fix, and they've been onto this about 3 or 4 years that I know of. And we really need to fix this as well. This one, not only has it not got access for scooters, even if you've got a high lifted four-wheel drive, you still can't even get down there. So if there's any accident emergency on the beach, what they've been doing is getting the helicopter down here, because there's no vehicle access down to this beach. And it's one of our most popular beaches as well. And this is Back Beach. So I'm going to show you the Back Beach ramp, and I think you'll be really concerned why we're not doing this. So here we are at Back Beach, and I'll show you the example of what we need to do for accessibility. I was talking to these guys, and they reckon it would be great if they could drive down here, because they've got big packs for their parasails, and yeah, it would be good to have access for things like that. So this is the beach access here, and I've had dozens of people saying something needs to happen. The problem is if you walk on these rocks, and it's very, very slippery, so you can see how there's sand on those rocks. I don't know if you can see that. So if you don't know that and you stand on those rocks, they're like mini ball bearings. So I don't ever stand on those sandy rocks. But this is the beach access. So isn't that disgusting? That there, if I can get my leg into it. Okay, so there's my foot, there's my knee. So it's a good thigh height. So really, if we want to have full beach access on all our places, this is already a boat ramp. So why can't we extend it? And it's just a matter of extending it out at the same angle, and it would probably go down to about here. And that way you've got car access and beach access. So really, if they're going to look at ramp and ramp access, I feel we need to do these first, because they're not being done. Council say they're not going to do it because there is access here, but it's not ramp access. I'll show you the access. Got to go around here. And that's the stairs. So, I don't know how you're going to get a scooter or a wheelchair down there. So I think they need to do the access of the ramp. They had beach access here as well. Look at the state of those. So they need fixing too, really. And then, of course, you've got this access ramp here. But like I say, before they do any ramp at Fitzroy Beach, which is not needed, why are we not doing these ones? Because they're needed. Bit of a joke, really. So like I say, we're going to vote on this option of having a $1.7 million or a $3.5 million fix, yet we ignore these access ways. It's just a joke. I'm also going to show you the distances that you have to cover to remain the 12 degree. Here's another guy, a parasailer, and he's carrying his stuff over. I don't know how far he's walked from, but I'll ask him and we'll go from there. Well, I'm just down at Fitzroy again. I was talking to someone else and they gave me an idea, because I always said that that area there is far too steep to do the 12 degree gradient which goes up to the kiosk. And he said, no, all they simply do is they've got to walk back here and go up that. But the reality is, that's still a reasonable gradient. And that's not much less or more. So, yeah, I'd like to know the difference in degrees of those two there. But that actually looks the same gradient. So what this design, if they want to keep within the 12, okay, behind the tree is where they're coming down, and they're going way over there near where that car is, and they're coming back, then they're going to have to come all the way along here, okay, all the way to that gradient there, and then come all the way up here. So I'll just take a shortcut. And I reckon that by the time you zigzag and use that and use the gradient excuse, you're probably covering more distance than parking at East End and walking down. But wait, there's more. I'll just show you why. So this is where they'd have to come. And if it is beach access, and we've fixed the problem of going up to the kiosk by using this walkway to avoid the steep gradient over here, which is pretty damn steep, you've still got this here, which is not the 12 degrees. So what are they trying to fix here? I don't think they've thought about it. So like I say, tomorrow we get to vote on this. I just think they're wasting their money personally, and it needs to be re-looked at. But of course, everyone loves New Plymouth, and look at the view tonight. Right, catch you tomorrow.